Hello and welcome to another video in my Vlogmas. I'm still not going to say I'm doing Vlogmas for certain because that's commitment and I don't do that. So today I'm bringing you the Astrological Signs tag, which was created by Chelsea Snail, so there'll be a link to that video in the description. But basically it's got different star signs and you line it up with a book. And let's get started. The first star sign is Aries, a book where they go on a grand adventure. And this one I'm picking Aragon by Christopher Paolini because they travel in this book, like seriously, they go wild places. They are travelling for a lot of the book and it is just wild adventure and it's really cool. So yeah. Taurus, a book you thought long and hard about before buying. Generally I don't think I'm too long about books or I just won't get them. But this one I thought about for a while, and that is Frostbite and the rest of the Vampire Academy books by Rochelle Mead, because I read Vampire Academy and when I finished it I was like, oh, I need to pick up the sequel. So I ummed and ahed about it for a long time, but in the end I thought I'd do it and get it. And I've read 2 of the next 5 books, so yeah, I thought for a while about it at least. Gemini, an author you feel who is wise and someone who understands people and life, and they portray that in their books. And the person I'm picking is Brandon Sanderson, because I think every character, especially in this book, is just so well developed and they are so realistic, even in this really high fantasy realm. All the characters feel like people, and that's just really important to me in a high fantasy book. Cancer, a book that helps you get through a hard time in your life. And honestly, none. I haven't had a book that has stood out as helping me in hardships in my life. But I thought I'd pick something that's kind of, something. The Gone series by Michael Grant, I read this when I was preparing for my GCSEs. So this series holds a special place in my heart for just being amazing. And it was kind of there when I was revising and stuff, when I was having no fun doing that, I had Gone. Leo, a book that makes you feel inspired or empowered. And the book I'm picking is Reasons to Stay Alive by Matt Haig, because if you read this book, you will feel like no matter how bad life is, you can get through it. And that's just really empowering to me, because seeing what he went through is just heartbreaking, but the fact he comes out the other end of it is just really important, and it just makes you feel good. Bad but good, because there is always a light at the end of the tunnel, that kind of thing. Virgo, a book you think is flawless. And I'm going to pick a book from one of my favourite series, my favourite series of all time, and that is The Titan's Curse by Rick Riordan. This is literally my favourite book of all time. It has a huge impact on my life. I love it so much, and literally nothing in this book goes wrong, for me. Obviously horrific things happen to the characters, but for me, this book from start to finish does not put a foot wrong, and it is absolutely stunning. Libra, a fantasy, sci-fi / dystopian book that had the perfect balance between action and romance. And I picked an urban fantasy, City of Glass by Cassandra Clare, because this book, you find out some things, you get some love, interests, developments, and there is still some really cool fight scenes in this book, so yes. Scorpio, a book that was very different from what you expected. And I just did a whole video on expectations in books, so I thought I'd pick one that I didn't mention in there. And this is Grasshopper Jungle by Andrew Smith, because I don't know what I was expecting, honestly, going into this. But it wasn't that. It was not what I got. I was not expecting that at all. It's such a strange book. I honestly don't get it. But really strange. Not a fan. But I don't know what I was expecting, so yeah. Sagittarius, a book you recommend to everyone because you're very enthusiastic about it, and FYI, I'm a Sagittarius. And this one should be no surprise, Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. I recommend this book to everyone. I literally bought it for my friend for Christmas, even though I gave it to her in September. But I had to get everyone to read it because I love this book so much. Capricorn is question 9. A book where the character never gives up on getting what they want. And I picked The Curious Instinct of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon. Christopher is the main character. He suffers from some sort of autistic spectrum disorder, but you're not really defined. It's not really defined, which I think is perfect. But basically, he has these aspirations, and he doesn't give up, and it's just so heartwarming to see that. He has all these ideas, he does these things that maybe he shouldn't do, but, you know, it's just what he wants to do, and he doesn't give up, and it's just... And even at the end, when you think he's not going to quite get what he wants, he still gets it, and it's beautiful. A book unlike any other, with a uniqueness that sets it apart and makes it great. I'm actually going to go with a book I haven't finished yet, but I can tell you so far, it is unlike any other book I've ever read, and it is amazing so far, and that is Illuminae by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. If you've even remotely heard about this book, you will know it's set out with all these strange case files and emails and IMs, and no, where's it? I'll find the page. There's a really cool page that was really weird. They've got pages like this, and it's just so strange, but it's so wonderful, and just wow. And last question, Pisces, a book with a character who goes through immense character development. And for this one I actually picked a whole series, and that is Darren from the saga of Darren Shan / the Search to Freak series, because from start to finish, he changes so much. He is just a kid at the beginning of this book, and by the end he hasn't aged that much because of his vampire blood. But he has changed such a lot as well, because he becomes this thing that's spoilery, so I won't say it, but he just becomes so much more than just a kid, and it's wonderful. He never loses his core though, he always remains this kind of funny, upbeat kid at heart, but everything else changes. And even if he's not necessarily a kid by the end, it still just breaks my heart, the end of the series. But he changes so much and I love it. So that was the Star Signs book tag. So, well, astrological signs book tag, but you know what I mean. I'll have another video up soon, so goodbye.